Welcome to Day 2 of the GSL Super Tournament. We're going to kick-ass Day 1. I'm Tasteless, joined with me is Artosis. And, yeah, we're halfway through this phase of the tournament, man. Almost to the round of 8.
Yeah, and yesterday was really quite fantastic. We had a lot of great games. That third Rogue Maru game, oh my God, that one was crazy.
It was crazy, and the results were honestly pretty shocking.
Yeah.
Not that Rogue isn't good, but I thought it was going to be much closer. The games themselves close. The results of 3-0, totally the opposite, one-sided.
It was super fun, and as you guys see, this is our schedule yesterday, today, tomorrow, the next day, all starting at 5 p.m. KST, which is right now. So set your reminders for the next couple days. Of course, that 8th spot for BlizzCon is going to be decided in the next couple of days. And, of course, there's Lucky Draw as well. If you are here in the audience, keep your ticket stub. And at the end, you might win a GSL jacket.
Yeah, so don't skip out for the giveaway. That's something very special we're doing for this tournament specifically. So we already have one side of the bracket done. Innovation Classic. Deer and Rogue are our survivors. Especially excited for Innovation versus Classic.
Dude, yeah, both those matches are quite fantastic. And
yeah.
Let's not forget, Classic and Rogue in the running for BlizzCon in this tournament.
That's right. Rogue looking primed to move on, but Deer is already surprising us in this tournament. Here are the standings so far for WCS Korea. You can see that from 8 to 13, everybody's kind of floating.
Yeah.
It's very cool that we have this going on because it makes not only the Super Tournament, which is already awesome with the 16 best of the best in the world.
Yeah.
By the way, one non-Korean time, that kicks ass as well. But also that these guys are fighting to get to the BlizzCon final. So there's so much at stake over the next 3 days.
Oh, there really is. And SOS right now, he has to be in a very good mood, Tasteless, because Alive and Maru were closer to him in points than Classic and Rogue were, and they both got defeated by those players. So just a little tidbit, if SOS wins tonight, the only way for Classic or Rogue to get to BlizzCon is to win the tournament and have SOS drop out in the round of 8.
So weird, man.
Otherwise, he's got it.
It's like you got to fight your very hardest, and even if that works, it still might not pay off to betting. So
very
weird.
True.
We are going to jump right into this as we have a lot of games today, potentially 20 total, if every best of 5 goes to that final game. So we're starting this off with Dark versus Bunny. They're now walking to their respective PCs, and we're going to get this going. I personally, if I can be the prediction guy for a minute, I think Dark is going to take this pretty handedly.
I think Dark will take it as well. I'm looking at like maybe a 3-1, but Bunny is very strong. And
yeah,
I mean, he goes up and down as far as his results. Like sometimes he is actually playing as a top Terran, and sometimes you're just looking and you're like, yeah, you're the 9th Korean Terran, right?
Sure.
You're string 3 or something.
He's got like a really tactical mid game.
Yeah, he does.
I feel like the problem for him going up against Dark is Dark can keep sidestepping you until the game's gone on for too long, and
yeah,
Dark wins. It's like one of those missions in the single player where you gotta survive for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Only it's Dark's Zerg that has to hang on, and then he takes the game. So let's see how he does against Bunny. Bunny has actually come in and KO'd a lot of really good players, though.
Yeah.
So don't count him out. But I do feel like late game, not that he's bad, but I think it's going to be very tough against Dark. Both Dark and Rogue, kind of the gods of late game CVT.
Yeah, just of late game, I think all matchups, they are just so strong. So can Bunny kill him with some of these trickier early game, mid game strategies? That is yet to be seen. But definitely I agree with you, Tasteless. I am favoring Dark in this matchup fairly heavily.
So, the previous match history, I don't think we can take too much from this, to be honest.
Yeah.
Pretty similar. Both of them obviously playing against very good players. So, we're going to have to see how their play styles map out in this series. Of course, again, a lot on the line here. Everybody's been working to do this entire year to get their tournament wins, to get the best results, the best games they can. But not everybody's going to BlizzCon. We're going to start this off with the map Odyssey. And from there, we're going to go to Newkirk Precinct. We definitely have a lot more big maps in this Super Tournament than we have had in some of our other tournaments.
Which is another thing that makes it a little bit difficult for these Terran players going up against the Zergs. I mean, you give them enough room, and how do you attack across the map into them? They get just such a nice creep spread going. So we'll see if Bunny can make the upset here against Dark.
Season 2.
starting off day 2 in the upper left in the blue.
Dark.
And his opponent here in the bottom right in the red.
Bunny.
All right.
So this is definitely a David versus Goliath match here. Dark, especially if you look at the results from the last BlizzCon, you know, I think even though Rogue is very exciting right now, Dark is sort of still holding the mantle of the best ZVTer from the last BlizzCon finals.
Yeah, you can't really take that away from him. I have to agree with you there.
Thanks for coming down, guys. Hope you're enjoying the games. I believe that gentleman had a Muse shirt on. I love that band. I used to play Brood War 2, a lot of Muse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no.
Unless I'm wrong and he doesn't. He's like, what? He's like, no. I believe I saw that, though. I think I'm right.
He shakes his head yes. So.
Okay. Oh, he's nodded yes.
He's got a Muse shirt and a beard just like you. You just see
we're going to be
like
best friends now.
That's going to be perfect.
But yeah, I used to play a lot of Brood War to Muse.
Yeah, it's great to play to, actually.
Unless you're losing, then sometimes that guy's wailing in my ears, and I'm like, it's too much. Anyways, this map, these players, there is some crafty stuff as far as the rate of expanding on this map based on some of the gold bases and things like that. We'll see if that becomes a factor here. Dark's definitely somebody who knows how to abuse that and play with that. Bunny, somebody who's got a lot of very tactical pushes, comes out and can win a lot of fights. Also, his pushes they don't seem to be copied from anybody else.
Yeah.
That seems like it's his own thing.
I would tend to agree with
kind of an
that.
odd unit set.
Yeah. Especially in like TVP, for instance, he's got a super original fingerprint there. You know, he always loads 2 tanks into a medevac, sends them with his Marines.
Yeah.
Kind of hides the fact that he has the tanks, tries to hit you with a little push quickly. But you're definitely right. He has some of these interesting mid-game plays.
I would say not as aggressive in the early game as some of our other players. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
All right. Now you just... Okay, nicely done. Does drive Dark out. Dark does get to scout and see the reactor being made on there, the factory.
And just slowing down this command center is a really, really nice move.
Sure.
You can see that Bunny was prepared because he made the Marine. He knows that Dark very, very oftentimes goes gas pool hatchery instead of hatchery first. Almost every other Zerg just goes hatch first. But with plays like that, if you sneak those 2 lings around and they're making a reactor, your Reaper has to come all the way home and your command center is wicked delayed. So you see that Bunny just kind of like countering that style that Dark is so well known for.
Yeah, absolutely. Dark, as usual, just gearing up, getting another 3rd base. And we'll have to see what we really can have from Bunny as the game passes on. Raven's coming out. This has been more popularized in 2017. And from there, he'll probably be chucking auto turrets over here. And a little bit of pressure here with the Hellions and the Reaper.
Yeah, the Overlord speed is done as well. Another kind of Dark signature move for the early game. This guy just wants to scout what you're doing because overall his decision-making, his management of different situations that he gets to scout is second to none.
I feel like
among Zergs.
Him and Solar really popularized this and legitimized this. I mean, it makes sense, but they were the ones that were really always doing it, getting in there and just getting the scouting done.
Yeah, Dark really puts an emphasis on figuring out what you're doing. And the amount that I respect that personally, it's like perfectly in line with what I believe and think and feel about StarCraft. It's safety, it's macro play. This is a strategy game. He's figuring out what you're doing, and then he can react correctly. It's not just a blind build order where he's like, well, I have enough drones, I should be able to hold everything.
Yeah, it's funny how some people play that. I totally agree with you. That's the way I've always viewed the game as well, is like farm information and come to some kind of conclusion or get some kind of plan to get further ahead in that regard. And if you have to sacrifice a little to just get that intel, it's usually worth it. We see Bunny now pushing forward. With the Raven, he can gun down these creep tumors very easily and actually planted an auto turret, which I was not expecting here, especially with the roaches coming forward.
Yeah, it looks like that was maybe to help battle those queens, but with this many roaches popping out at this point, he just can't do any damage.
Well,
and
we have some Ravagers coming here. I think Zerg's going to try to strike right here at the front.
Yeah.
Possibly punishing the fact that there are so many Hellions. the Hellions are not going to do very much against Roaches, and with the Lings being made behind this, as usual, that's made because the Lings with speed will get there at the same time the Roaches and the Ravagers are there doing damage, so that the Roaches aren't tanking anymore. It's these Lings there, which means the attack is going to do the most damage, or at least it's supposed to, as the Lings are arriving there.
Well, we'll see if he can bust through right now. Does throw down some auto turrets, brings out those Hellions as well. Very good plays here by Bunny to slow this down while he's making those bunkers, making that siege tank.
Kind of questionable that he's still attacking through that turret there. It could have passed pretty quickly, but anyways, now there's more Lings being made. Now the Lings aren't going to do any damage until the Hellions are actually taken out, so we need to see these Ravagers hit the bunkers, and then the Roaches and Ravagers dive on top of the Hellions.
The zoning of these
I didn't
Hellions,
see the Queens there, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he had those in the Overlord, but with the siege tank here, okay, well, he gets the siege tank now. Before, he was actually zoning very well with the Hellions so that they couldn't just corrosive vial that, but with this many vials now, I feel like Bunny's just going to die.
Yeah, well, he has enough Ravagers that repair is not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
The damage output is so high that the bunker just disappears. And, of course, with this many Ravagers and Queens, you can easily take out the tank here on the high ground. GG, game one goes to Dark. Very straightforward. Dark gets his Overlord in there. He gets a read on what his opponent's doing. Says, okay, looks like this scumbag Terran
is going mech,
but also he's got a lot of Hellions.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to think that I will do any kind of attack. He's expecting for me to do counterattacks in there, use the Ravens, push back the creep, and says, you want to play ball? I'm going to make all these Roaches into Ravagers, send my Queens across the map, and annihilate you while you're in this transition. Shame on you for trying to play that kind of game against me. Go back to the traditional Terran play.
And this is the beauty about Dark. A lot of the times we find ourselves talking about how thrifty he can be, how late game he makes a lot of great decisions and really knows how to play that area. But so many of his games are like this, where he scouts what you're doing, or he decides to just make a decisive, quick attack. It's so funny because he's such a good Zerg in all portions of the game that I don't think of him as an aggressive Zerg a lot of the time, but he is an aggressive Zerg. He does kill you quickly. He looks at those things he scouted, like you said, like the Hellions, the Ravens, the Command Center, the third Command Center. What all those have in common? They don't beat Roach Ravager.
Exactly. Let's go to game number 2, Dark vs. Bunny.
Season 2.
In the bottom left, in the blue, winning game number 1.
Dark.
Great play that last game. Good scouting. Nice attack.
In the bottom right, in the red, he is
Bunny.
Excuse me.
Got a little cough there, Artosis.
I do. By the way, Bunny was going to go mech. Haven't seen mech pulling out the victories.
No, mech is bombing pretty hard, to be honest, at this tournament. It seems like the Terrans might be onto something, but it's not refined enough. What's going on, guys? Thanks for coming down. I don't know if there's going to be a Terran who's going to pull it off here in this tournament, but we've seen a lot of Terrans get punished. And mech is something in StarCraft 2 that seems to come to the forefront, and then get punished, and it tends to fade away unless we're on. What is that map that we were on that was comically small and boxy?
Oh my god!
The maps was horrible.
Oh god!
The ones that Zergs couldn't win if it went
the one
on,
where like Biel did everything that a Zerg could ever be expected to do and still lost. Like, where Biel played perfect games and got wrecked. Like
here's actually the truth, guys.
What was the name of that?
I'm going to expose myself here for a second. I have the worst memory of all map names.
Yeah, you never know any map names.
For RTS, people have asked me, what's your favorite map from last year? And I'm like, I actually don't know the maps from last year as far as names go. If you show me a photo of them, I can immediately start talking about them. But any Brood War maps, any StarCraft 2 maps, I'm horrible with that.
But you know
that map. That map was garbage.
There was 2 or 3 maps that were very boxy. I know exactly the one you're thinking of because it was just like the most painful.
It had that diamond high ground in the middle that you could run around on.
Yes.
So it seems like at times like that you could mech because you didn't have to leave your base that far.
Yeah.
Some of these big maps that we have in this season, I think we have the most big maps We actually have a lot of maps to begin with, but we have the most large-size maps that there are.
We do have very big maps this season, or just in general right now. Mech Depot's really good. I mean, really big. See, I like big maps too. Ascension Higher is really big. Acolyte is really big. So, you know, it matters what the tournament's using, what the ladder is using, all these things. But some of these bigger maps, it can be difficult. We have definitely seen Gumiho have great success still with mech. He played against Protoss, and his mech did not work there.
He's got a very mobilized mech as well.
Yeah,
he has a funny way of approaching it.
He's the best mech TVZer, truthfully. It's not TY, it's not Innovation, it's not Maru. It's really Gumiho.
You know, since StarCraft Remastered is out, I feel like we do need to talk about this, because mech was really started in StarCraft 1. And was a response to the fact that Bio could not beat Protoss. Now, in case you've watched some SC Remastered, we've seen some Bio tricks, and I want you guys to understand how super advanced they are. Yeah. They're like as advanced as some of the mech tricks we've seen work against Zerg here in StarCraft 2 in a lot of ways. But it was generally hinged on the mech being not that mobile as far as tanks, and you'd poke out with vultures that were super fast. That's where the whole concept of the Hellion was put into the game. But some of the mech we've seen in StarCraft 2 is not like the StarCraft 1 mech in the sense that you get Cyclones and Hellions and things like that are actually just mobile, and you can pick fights. So it's quite interesting because even though mech generally means mechanical units and it comes from a different building instead of the barracks, it's coming mostly from the factory. There's a lot of different ways to do it. So when we say mech in StarCraft 2, we don't just mean one certain set of units.
Well, yeah. I mean, in StarCraft 1, there's 3 mech units. Here, there's actually quite a few more, right? You got the Thor and the Siege Tank. You have the Hellion, the Hellbat, which is, I mean, it technically morphs out of it, but you also have that Cyclone in there. You have the Widow Mine in there. It's just, it definitely is very, very different.
We're going to have a crazy game of tag going on over here. Okay, he finally gets rid of it.
Whoa. Fell right down there. He has to clean that up.
Into that pit. That's where the Emperor fell, man, in Star Wars.
It's where the guy in Sparta got kicked down 3,000 years before this game.
Yeah.
Okay, this attack actually is looking pretty neat. There are 9 roaches on the way, but with these Hellions, with that Widow Mine, you can't really touch this with Blings, that's for sure. It's not the highest damage output, so these roaches are going to be popping. The Queen's going to come up. Oh, very nice.
Overlord soaking the damage there. That was really nice.
Very well done.
Yeah, the problem is the Hellions don't do a lot of damage, like Artosis was saying. So even though there was a lot of units next to the hatchery, they don't kill it right away, just due to that unit composition. Oh, no. Big Link counterattack. And the SCDs actually can't run away, because if they run in, the Lings will just get up the ramp and do more damage. Yeah. So he has to use the Lings to get in the way. This is 7 Lings killed so far. 8, 9, 10. 10 worker kills. And considering that Bunny was coming in there, the one that was actually trying to put... Oh, dude, he's doing it again.
Yeah, he has a drop overlord as well, so Queens are going to be on the way. Like, he holds this initial attack. He sees you're making a 3rd command center. He's like, all right, let's go.
You know, we've actually seen... well, actually, I'm going to talk about it on the break. Let me just talk about this fight here until it gets finished up. And I think this might actually end the game. The bunkers are not even done yet, and already the Ravagers are here, unlike the previous game. Here come the Queens. Transfuse as well as just additional damage.
Yeah.
The bunker finishes the moment it's done. Transfuses all around here on these Ravagers. If he wants to, I don't know where that Overlord is, but he could juggle the Ravagers in and out of that as well. But that's it, GG. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out, man, are Zergs actually thankful that the Terrans are meching in SuperTournament? You know, sometimes...
Well, that game wasn't mech, right? That was...
Was it not mech? Was it not mech at all? He was going straight into bio.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he was getting stim, right?
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm actually wrong. I was following that.
Maybe I'm completely crazy. I don't know.
Well, to be honest, I actually wasn't looking, but what I was noticing was it was the same way he died, but just having these Hellions coming out like this and doing some damage here.
Well, yeah, he's holding these attacks, and he's like, you're being so greedy behind this. You didn't actually do damage. You made my hatchery bleed. Wow.
Yeah. You damaged my building, you know it still works. Even if it's at 1 HP, it still does all the things it needs to do. But I do wonder, in the grand scheme of things, because we have seen so much mech in this, and we did see a little bit of that from Bunny already, are the Zergs, like Rogue and Dark, actually thankful? Everybody's played in the meta where, especially for the top of your game with your race, you're going, I don't think this is the answer, guys.
Well, okay, I totally do see what you're saying, because we're seeing a lot of Terrans have a hard time, but look at the current meta against Bio. It's Lingbane Hydra, and against that you have to make a lot of siege tanks, right? But then suddenly Vipers are out, and Ultras are out and stuff. So, like, I think that the two choices for late-game Terran are Mech, which you have to start with pretty early on, or you have to hit a beautiful transition into lots of ghosts with liberators and things like that, right? So not very many Terrans have shown that they can play that ghost liberator style to the level that you need to beat a player like Dark or a player like Rogue.
Very true. They get all the way to the end of the rabbit hole and they lose the game.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't. Like, it's so positional at that point. I would even say it's more positional than Mech at that point when you're playing with Ghost Liberator. And I feel like really it's like TY is unbelievably fantastic about that. Maybe Maru and Innovation can do it too, but other than that, these guys are liking Mech.
Season 2.
In the upper left with a 2-0 lead.
Dark.
Our player in the red has to win every game from here on out.
Bunny.
He is out of the Super Tournament.
Yeah, having a tough night. You were saying before we came out, I don't know if you said it live, but you're like, I think Dark's going to 3-0 Bunny. I'm like, come on.
I did. I was in the
He'll take
coffee
a
shop.
game.
I said this in the coffee shop. You were like, tassels.
Like, Bunny's good, man.
Thanks for coming down, brother. No, I felt it, man. I woke up in a cold sweat this morning and went, Dark's going to 3-0 Bunny. I went and started moving around my Ouija board. I'm like, oh my God, I'm right.
Yeah. Wait.
Whoa.
That's a kind of funny place to expand to right away.
No SCV came out, right?
Double hatch before pool with the first one being kind of far away. No scout coming over. Looks like they're going to wait for a Reaper. It's kind of neat.
It's interesting because usually that when you take the hatch over there, it's a reaction. Unless it's like a gold base or something.
I wonder
on other maps. But
yeah. Well, considering he wants to go double hatch before pool, in a way, it makes some sense to me because that'll be the first hatch to finish. And if it was in his natural, the Reaper's going to be on top of that. Can you really build drones and stuff there?
Or maybe he gets a queen out at that third base. He could drive the Reaper away.
Yeah.
Whereas instead of the third hatchery being a fight where the Zerg pushes out or sneaks a drone over, he just takes the third base there. He could then have that as an independent outpost that can sort of manage itself, while he can then instead from his main try to protect the natural. Granted, there is in some ways some of the same problem where, okay, now you still have to fight to get your natural if the Reaper's out, but let's see how this unravels here.
Well, that pool finishing up, he's going to be able to get those queens and lings out. Don't expect the Reaper to really do very much. Scouts that hatch. Okay, the timing with which he... Okay, so this is going back right now. This
so
is
he
actually
thinks it's
all
a proxy?
No, what he thinks is that it was gas pool hatch, which Dark does all the time.
Oh, my
So he's going back to
God.
clean up the lings that are coming to kill the command center CC. I mean, the command center SCV. And so Dark just mind-gamed the shit out of Bunny.
I actually have to say, that was a really good read, Artosis. Really good job.
Well, good job to Dark for setting this up.
Yeah, well, this is super, especially as a reaction to the first two games. He's mixing it up. I mean, at this point in time, you got...
You see how hard he's looking
Bunny,
for the wings?
He's panicked. He's looking everywhere. But I mean, he's actually scrambling so hard, especially with how the early game has gone in the last two.
Yeah.
He wants to try to do everything perfectly this time around, and he's totally misread this. And he may be ill-prepared for the fact that this is a 3-hatch macroing Dark.
Oh, seriously, this is like the greediest build ever from Dark. So things are going well for him right now. Looks like
there's really nothing better than if you trick them into thinking they're about to be attacked, and you're being completely greedy.
They go back and defend. It's like, whoa.
And nothing comes, and then there is this moment your heart sinks and you think, oh no, I actually got tricked.
Yeah, well now he sees it. Creep down here, he's like, oh, what?
Yeah.
So he's going towards bio play here. He was getting cloak, but has actually canceled it at this point.
The Vikings out. Here comes the Overlord to scout in. For the time being, Dark just cranking out workers here. He's getting to the exact place he wants to be. Stim starting right now for Terran. You can see Terran trying to edge in to get a closer peek. But these queens are guarding this ramp over here. The creep spread is really good.
So he's adding a lot of barracks before making a third command center.
So
of course, both the previous games he just died because he was being a bit too greedy.
But
I wonder if he's just going to go mass bio here. He has a reactor on that factory. It could just be building for the Marines and stuff, but he could do something like just a parade push type of play, maybe some Widow Mines mixed in there.
I don't think it would be wise for him to try to get a third command center right now, and he's just going to be playing the same. He's in the same race, but he's already behind in that macro sense. So I think instead, what you're saying is probably correct, that he wants to gear up and actually try to come in and start picking a fight. As you said, we don't see that third CC there really anywhere. I think Zerg will be ready for this, though. Two Evo chambers are coming up, so he's getting ready to go into the later part of the game, but he's also getting the Baneling's Nest finished up. Here he's making a bunch of lings, so I think he's got a pretty good read on the situation.
Bunny is, it looks like to me, going all in here. He's making Hellions out of his factory and an armory without getting any plus attack upgrades for his Marines. So he's just going to go Hellbat Marine Medevac and see if he can bust through. And because Dark is sitting here only making lings, he did start Baneling's speed. That is super, super crucial. But this is the game that he hasn't gone roaches. This is the game he's sitting on lings. So those Hellbats are going to make it very hard for lings to do anything here.
Now let's see, with Bunny coming in, how much damage you can actually do. Bunny is well known for having really, really good attacks early on that a lot of players tend to lose to, no matter who they are. He's coming up now. Now the creep spread very good despite knocking the creep timbers out. Dark has a good amount. The Queen arc very nice. Now retreating down onto the low ground. It doesn't seem so far with this Ling interception here too to take out the reinforcement. So much for a parade push. If what's coming from the main can't connect to the army in the front. Widowmine goes down. Terran's now walled himself in, and this army near the center is isolated. In fact, half of it's going to stay stuck in the middle. The other half is looking to drop, I believe, in the main here.
Yeah, it looks like Hellbat's going to be dropped into that main base. But Dark is in such a good spot. Look at this. He just goes right up. Baneling Speed's about to finish. 1-1's about to finish. He's going to have 2 more upgrades than a 2-base Terran, and he's on 4 bases. Like, everything on Earth is in Dark's favor. He is going to take this game almost certainly.
Dark may be too big to fail here. Let's see how this drop comes in now. He's coming down, hitting it. He's actually at a good angle between the extractor and the pool. It's hard for the Lings and Banelings to get in there. So the Queens are going to go for the medevacs. Everything else obliterated by those Banelings. Was that overkill, though? Because down in the south now, Terran pushing with a lot of Marines and a couple of Hellbats. This expansion isolated, although creep spread is pretty good. We're waiting to see the Lings and Banelings come down now.
Well, he's giving himself an opportunity to get something done here. A ton of Banelings on the way. He might actually be able to get this 4th hatchery, so that would be a solid kill, but Bunny does not have a 3rd command center yet.
This is a win, but a win with a battle, not the war. He's now gotten that. He's trying to escape, but is he actually going to get surrounded here? So many Banelings now spilling down.
Jeez, that's a lot of Banelings.
Oh, whoa.
Holy God.
Yeah, and actually Lings are still coming down here. If he can get on top of the depot. Does not. Depot goes up. That was a close call.
Yeah, but Bunny is sitting here with no upgrades on his Marines. He does not have eBays getting, like, his Marines are not getting any better right now. He's making some Cyclones. He's just making 9 Marines at a time.
There's really no plan here, I think, to expand at all. He might actually try to attack it again. In fact, he's going to try to drop in a couple different spots and see if he could sort of cause his Zerg to overreach and overstretch here. But I think all Dark has to do is stay in the game and keep upgrading and teching, and it will be impossible for Bunny to win the game. I think when it's all said and done, Dark did not care that he lost that 3rd base. He's just in a better position because he's kind of playing the more tried and true StarCraft 2 game of just getting all the upgrades, getting all the tech.
Well, the move that guarantees victory if it comes to fruition is that 2-2. If you're up 4 upgrades, I mean, you can fight with your drones almost against the Marines at that point, man.
Yeah.
The Marines are just not even going to scratch anything. So that is huge that he started 2-2. The Hive, I think, is almost even overkill here, but fine, whatever. But yeah, I mean, Bunny is really super duper all in with this.
What he's doing now is he's taking his main command center and trying to float it. But already a big counterattack here is going to kill more of these workers. This is probably the best way if you're going to do two basing for a long time, is to mine out your main and then just float the main CC to the natural, because you've only spent minerals on attacking units, and then once your natural is dry, or your main is dried up, you just kind of move it down there. We've actually seen Bunny specifically do this before as well, but it is a dicey way to play because you really can't make any mistakes as Terran, like this, like letting these Marines in.
Yeah, a couple Marines rallying down. We can go over and try to clear this out, but that +2 melee is going to be finishing pretty soon. Ultralisk Cavern just finished up. That is a lot of bio. All he needs to do, though, is just kill that off.
Oh, my God. Oh!
Well, that
was... my God, it was every single unit. We don't even get to see the final fight.
Well, That's
it. That's it, dude.
Tasteless, if you had to compare this to a Mobius strip, which would be more one-sided, the Mobius strip or this series?
This series. Well, that game, oh my God. You know, normally the Banelings come in and you always think, Dark's like, oh, sorry, I killed all your drones back there. SCVs, sorry.
He's like, hey,
but he's
I'm
like,
sorry, man. I'll give you some strats to get out of Platinum League if you want.
That was savage, man.
Yeah. Bunny is a great player, but Dark just destroying him.
25 SCVs killed, every single one. I mean, you know that, first of all, Bunny going as fast as he can, he sees that blip on the mini-map, right? He's like, oh shit. Banelings goes back, clicks, and at that moment, and that's when he does his keyboard combo of leave the game. Like, GG, boom, 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 I'm out. We didn't even see the final fight because there was nothing he could do. Great series. Don't go away. We'll be right back here at the GSL Super Tournament.